Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The environmental problems of the Niger Delta are all too well known. Most of those problems brought about by the mindless exploitative practices of international oil companies operating in the region. Entire communities had at different times been wiped out, either by the irreversible onslaught of environmental decline triggered by oil spillage or by the punitive actions of the Nigerian government in response to acts of dissent or protest by the people. Figures have been offered about how much Nigeria has been able to make from oil since the first discovery was made in Olobiri in present-day Bayelsa State, figures running into hundreds of billions of dollars. As Nigeria prepares to mark its 59th independence anniversary, how much of that has been a blessing and how much of it is a curse? For a conversation around this subject, we're now being joined by Joseph Evah, the national coordinator of the Ijaw monitoring group and an outspoken activist against environmental pollution in the Niger Delta. Comrade Evah, you're welcome to the morning show.
Thank you.
Good to see you again after, should I say, after we left government. But let me ask you, to business now. Now, I mean, when oil was discovered in Olobiri in 1956 and oil exploration and exploitation started, Nigeria expected this season of oil boom in the 70s, in the early 80s. Our problem was, I mean, too much money. Too much money. But when you look back now, you know, will you say the discovery of oil has been a curse or a blessing to Nigeria?
Well, it is both curse and blessing. Curse and blessing. Because with oil, especially in the 70s, Nigeria was, regarded as the giant of Africa. It was just because of our oil and we were
still the giant of Africa.
Yes, we are still the giant by the grace of God. Then we were able to manage civil war. Why the giant came about that? Nigeria was able to manage the civil war. And after the civil war, the Igbos, the Unity Youth Service and other things, go on with his vision and solid men around him, was able to, make Nigeria, and the resources were well spent, I would say, during the time of Gowon, and with the development plan that he learned from Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Western region and all that. So the programs and everything, Nigeria was really going to that level in which even the Americans were afraid the way we are going. So, but unfortunately, we that are from that area, it was the oil companies, because of their this British mentality and all that, they decided to wage war against us. We welcomed them when they came to our homeland. If you get to Ijaw land today, there are some people who are older than me. Their age, their name, they bear the name Shell. Shell Ebikabowi, Ajib, Owemia, the communities, the people, Ijaw people, Niger Delta people, Irobo people, Isoko people, they thought these people these are our friends. These people are coming to change our environment, like Libya and some other areas. So when they gave birth to children, if oil wells around that area, they will say, okay, they saw Chevron passing this and that. They give the name of the child Chevron. What is wrong in that? It is good neighborliness and all that. But since 1956, they declare war. We never knew that they declare war on our environment. They will not carry out environmental impact assessment. They are not interested in anything more than to loot. And so we tried to challenge them through our leader, the late Ken Saruwa, and all that, through peaceful means. They now instigated violence against us, and we decided to confront them because we have no option. We have no option. But then I believe that there is hope, because we will continue to agitate that change our environment. You cannot turn our environment to hell and you are making money from there. It is not possible. Because
it is possible. That's exactly what they've been doing.
Yes.
So in terms of righting that wrong, what needs to be done? Because Nigeria, as you said, the discovery of oil initially was a good thing, a country fresh into independence,
yes,
discovering a wonderful thing that should have been. But ultimately, as we reach very close to 2020, I feel very uncomfortable saying that the oil oil and its discovery in this country has been more of a blessing than a curse. Ultimately, especially in the areas that you've said, it has been a very visible curse. Don't you agree?
Yes. And we are not taking it lightly. We are really confronting the situation, especially because of the environment. One day we will leave this world, and our children, in the next 30, 100 years, they will be angry with us. They will go to our grave and say, what did you do when these people turned this environment to hell? What did you do? And that is why we are still talking.
Comrade Evah, I mean, I know that the default position of someone from the Niger Delta is to say that the international oil companies have not done this, have not done that. But you will also recall that since independence, the Nigerian government has been trying to pay special attention to the Niger Delta area, beginning with the Willings Commission, 1957, 1958. Then in the First Republic, the 50% derivation. And then, of course, under military rule for some time, that derivation was suspended. And then we had 1%. And then eventually we had 13%. Then you, of course, have the creation of special structures, like the Oil Minerals Areas Development Commission, succeeded by the Niger Delta Development Commission. So the Nigerian government has been trying to make amends. No. All of that also leading to, a person from the Niger Delta emerging as president of Nigeria. But the concern of other Nigerians is that the crisis is local. That even with all the resources at the disposal of governors in the South-South, those governors have not been able to make a difference. And that the people of the South-South have a responsibility to hold their own leaders, both at the government level and community levels, responsible. What do you think?
No. I petitioned the Oputa panel. I sent for petition to Oputa panel. And Oputa panel told me that my petitions are dangerous. One of the petitions, we don't want even the 13% paid to the governors. Babangida has this trade by barter system to build Abuja. If you bring what is their name, Julius Berger, to this place, Julius Berger will never tell you that Babangida pay physical cash to Julius Berger to turn Abuja to London. They never did that. They use our crude, give to Julius Berger, turn Abuja to London. In my petition to Oputa panel, we want Oputa to tell and recommend to the United Nations, because our problem is beyond Nigeria and local matter. It's not local matter. There was this gang up seriously to deal with us. And that was why we invited the United Nations. When President Obasanjo, Jimmy Carter Center came to Nigeria, we told the Jimmy Carter Center that there is this serious conspiracy. Leave our politicians. The way the oil companies operate in our neighbors here, Libya, they don't do that in our environment. If you refuse to develop the environment, the oil companies will not work. The oil companies know very well that if you turn these people, if you block their brain and everything, and you flare gas into their brain, in the next 30 years, these these brains will turn around to attack you. So sometimes when they cry, the youth are kidnapping us, the youth are kidnapping. Did you not turn our area into darkness? What do you expect the youth to do?
But why do you think they did that with Nigeria and not with Libya? Why was Nigeria different in that way? Because
when the oil companies, when these white men, they came to Africa, especially to black Africa areas and all that, they find out that the political leadership in these countries are not interested in their people. So they align with them. Instead of them to tell them that what we find in Netherlands, what we are seeing in American environment, we are going to apply those laws here. The laws we use to operate in South Africa, mining and other things in Zimbabwe, we are going to apply it here. They don't do that. The African leaders will tell them, don't worry, we are going to manipulate the people. And if they do nonsense, we send military. By the time the Niger Delta people confront the military and no movement and no resource taken there, they now say that we are militant. That is just it. Forget about, I petition Oputa panel, forget about these political leaders. Babangida built Abuja without spending money, without giving money to Julius Berger. Babangida was using trade by barter. They give our oil, percentage of our oil to Julius Berger. Julius Berger started the construction with a roadmap.
No, comrade.
With a roadmap.
You've been saying our oil, you know. There are some Nigerians who are uncomfortable with that kind of expression.
No, and I will tell them, let them come and debate.
No, wait. No,
it is our oil. When people have cocoa, they use the cocoa to build cocoa house in Ibadan.
No, wait.
They cannot tell us. What are they telling us?
Wait.
Ahmadu Bello was built with granite oil. So we tell granite wealth. So we tell them.
No.
Those people can hide. and tell us. They don't tell us in debates. They cannot come and face us in
debate. They've done papers on it, and they say that crude oil is a sedimentary deposit.
Well,
there is oil coming from the north.
No,
all the way deposited in the Niger Delta.
In those days, and you know, let me tell you something. Some people even said that it was cocoa money and granite money that was used to develop oil. Is it cocoa money that you give to Shell? Ajib. Shame on those type of intellectuals. They cannot debate with us live. They cannot. When I stopped the dredging of River Niger during Abacha era, I say if our seaports are dead, we will not allow any port in Barrow. If our seaports are working, we will also allow a ship to come from London, pass through Japan, pass through any area, go to Barrow. We are all one country. But my seaports are dead. You are not interested in Warri Port. You are not interested in Cocoa Port. You want to kill our ports, then you are building ports somewhere. Look at the flooding now. I stopped the dredging without environmental impact assessment through my lawyer, Femi Falana, during the Abacha era. When we are quiet and we turn to all this type of level, because when Kensarua came up with ideas, they said, forget about it. The oil belongs to everybody. The oil belongs to everybody. All water belongs to government. You can say it on paper. All water belongs to government. You can say it on paper.
Waterways Act, yes.
Yes. All land and water, you can say, belong to government. All land and water, as far as the job people are concerned, our water and land belong to our people. Because we don't go to any other area and say, that is why we say, based on respect, mutual respect, we can say Nigeria can move forward. But if some people want to intimidate, that was yesterday. That was yesterday. When people can just come up and say anything, now they know that if we say don't move into this area, they don't move.
Don't you think that this sentiment, this emotion you're feeling now is a requisite of that very same curse I said that resources brought to Nigeria? Is this not that curse manifesting itself in the way you're feeling today?
Yes, because I said,
ultimately we are one country.
We are one country. Happy Independence Day. We are all one country. I once lived in Maiduguri. I once lived with Justice Niki Tobi, who was the lecturer in University of Maiduguri. So we are all one country. But when you think that because people are quiet and you just felt that you have one power, we stop it. Like now, all Niger Delta people, we are giving glory to Almighty God. That Jonathan, God Almighty used Jonathan to cancel that insult that we are a second-class citizen. Some people felt in this country, we cannot rule Nigeria. And the rulership of Nigeria is given to some special people. We said, no, we are all equal citizens as far as this project Nigeria is concerned. And so God Almighty used Jonathan to become president, where they call us minority, this and that. I told them, minority. If we can't fish the way some people can cocoa and cows as a part of population, nobody in this country is more than the Ijaw people. We are the highest population. Because when people are quiet and say, let us negotiate.
That's not what the Nigerian census says.
Well, the Nigerian census, I challenge the Nigerian census that census is useless. I petition to put up another. Since from the British era till now, no census has been coordinated. If we want census to be coordinated in Nigeria, we have to invite the United Nations to come and coordinate census. Let us count human beings. If you count cocoa trees, we are going to count palm trees. We are going to count palm trees. And if you count cows, we can't fish. If you just can't fish on go like media now, look, we have our population. We are more than 10 billion in this country.
More than what?
10 billion. If we can't fish, a million alone. The fish call a million. They call it yo in Yoruba land. I was living in Ejiri, Ekpe. And we kill Ejiri, a million in those days. Even one part of a million is more than 2 billion. So if we count a million as part of Ijaw population, what is your population? Cows cannot, you can't count cows and face Ijaw people population.
No, census is meant for human beings.
But we are in this country, they are not counting census. Some people count granite and say it's part of their population. Some people count cocoa and they say, we have seen all those things in this country. That's why we are not taking those things for granted. So we want to live as a united nation, Nigeria. Respect our views, respect our heritage. The oil companies came, they destroy our environment, everything, hold us hostage, and now Nigeria government is doing nothing helpless. How can you flare gas into the brain of people? There is no medical, in the law of flaring of gas, there is no medical facility for the effect of gas flaring. Right. And we are living as a nation.
Now, you've expressed the usual anger by, Ijaw and Niger Delta activists. But you said something. You said, you are very happy that President Jonathan emerged from the South and became president of Nigeria.
Cancelled the minority name on us.
Under President Yaradua, there was also the amnesty program for Niger Delta militants. Now, many Nigerians will expect that with amnesty having been given to the militants, with a person from the South having served as Nigeria's president, that post-Jonathan, that there will be no agitation in the South. But we still have this agitation, we have this renewed anger, and we still have increased case of vandalism, pipeline vandalism, and oil theft. How does such criminal acts as pipeline vandalism and oil theft justify whatever political arguments the South may be putting forward?
Anybody who from Niger Delta pollute the environment or causing pipeline destruction, it's a criminal. And we, from time immemorial, because whatever you are destroying there will affect the environment forever. And so we trust nobody accepts anybody in the name of political agitation. You bust pipeline or you attack pipelines to cause environmental anarchy. No. Those of us who are environmental activists and all that, who even hand over such type of people to the government to be dealt with. What you are showing on your screen now, anybody that says, how can you, no human being, no living thing can live in this type of environment. What we are saying is that even the amnesty, although we are saying we want to train people because the idle brain is the devil workshop. Now, having accepted that, all the people graduating from the amnesty, where is the work? Where is the job? Not that we don't confront our governors and all that. The first meeting between the governors and the president, Nigeria Today president, and the governors, I even asked in a live television program that President Buhari should arrest all the governors there. Yes. Should arrest all of them, put them inside.
They have constitutional
immunity. Well, we will discuss constitution later after this emergency situation. Why can't they organize fishing trawlers? Look at what Apapa businessmen are doing in Apapa. How can businessmen from Apapa, in Apapa there, Kirikiri Jetty, they mobilize more than 200 fishing trawlers to the Niger Delta area, to the Bakassi axis. They will get their catch there, return it to Apapa Jetty, return it to Kirikiri Jetty, repackage them inside carton, return them to Warri. Even if the oil companies are destroying our canal and other areas, what of the Atlantic Ocean? This fish you find in our market, Monkere or this local Titus and all that, they are the oil. The fishing trawlers are coming from the axis of the Niger Delta. There is no single fishing trawler business by any of the governors. I say, President Buhari should capture all of them. Ask them all their ears, what is your problem? If it is even spiritual problem, let us organize pastors to cast out the demon of whether they are confused. Because we have these our governors who were born in that very environment. They know that seafood, not only this Titus and Mokra and all that, there are different types of seafood in the Atlantic Ocean. Recently, Bayelsa was displaying this giant whales. Giant. That is to tell you that whatever seafood you see in the Indian Ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean, in the American Ocean, in China, they are in our environment. But today, no governor is going into the fishing industry. So I said, why? And so the only person, maybe when Jonathan was there, he was their elder brother, and they will just say, we are your elder brother, leave us. Now that Buhari is here, he should arrest them. We will tell the Constitution to wait for us because we have emergency situation. Let him hold their ears. Why there is no fishing industry? Look, in the history of Nigeria, rubber plantations from Benin down to Sapele, you see rubber plantation everywhere. Without rubber, you can't produce this. Rubber with the mixture of chemical, petrochemical, you can't produce. 90% of what you have in this very studio are from the product of petrochemicals. We don't have any industry in the Niger. These governors cannot come together, just like what the Southwest governors are doing, come up with economic vision and decide to go into empowerment of this youth, creating jobs. Nothing more than political stories and all that. So we also fight our own battle. We also do this homework from our own axis because you have no moral right to be shouting national matter when even within your own, the little things that you have no vision. Sometimes we ask them, let them go back to what Awolowo or Mobolaji Johnson was doing in Lagos. When Lagos was created and Mobolaji Johnson was appointed as governor, look at the solid people he surrounded himself with. Not just, this one is my wife's sister, my brother's wife, my brother gardener, my cook sister. These are the type of political appointments we see in Niger Delta, local, even the local appointments. These things are also killing us. We are fighting government matter with one hand. We have to use whether left hand or this hand to fight local matter. It is not easy. And we are trying our best. We are trying our best. When immediately this president came in, when they went to Abuja, I begged the president on a live television program, don't allow Niger Delta governors to return to Niger Delta until you hold their ears and bring some pastors to cast out the demons of, they are not organized, they are a problem to us. And some of them start calling me, Evah, don't talk any evangelism. I said, my friend, leave this matters. You people are disgracing us now.
Isn't it possible that there will at least be one exception?
Yes, the governors.
Out of all the governors.
No, we are saying not that the governors, the type of road they are doing and all that. We are saying that when people use motor to drive the road, every day they are showing us construction of road. The people idle. People need empowerment to buy car, to drive the roads, to feed. Nothing. As far as empowerment, youth empowerment and job is concerned, if they don't go into the primary job of the Niger Delta people since the creation of this world, which is fishing, and now that we have modern style of doing things, is fishing trawlers. In order to engage the people, we can feed ourselves in Niger Delta with the Atlantic Ocean and still export seafood. We can do it. But the type of governors we have is our problem. Yes, before God and man, is the problem that we have. We can feed, we can export seafood from Niger Delta Atlantic Ocean. Nothing is happening. No governor that is operating any fishing trawler.
Anyway, let's talk about Ogoni. You know the Ogoni people. They went all the way to an international court to take Shell, to court. And one of the fallouts was the Ogoni cleanup, the cleanup of Ogoni spill. The government has always been expressing commitment to do it, to implement the policy. What is the situation now? Because I noticed that only recently, even Godswill Akpabio, the new minister of Niger Delta, was still talking about the Ogoni cleanup. And every minister from Niger Delta, has been minister of Niger Delta more or less, occupying that office in the Ministry of Niger Delta. And yet, we don't seem to know, where we are with the cleanup in Ogoni land. Do you have any information on that?
Well, the government side will tell us that the cleanup is going on, and the people from the homeland, they say, yes, there are efforts there, but it is just too slow. And I believe that Shell is the company that is also frustrating. Shell is so powerful. Shell is so powerful. Shell power. I don't know how to describe the power of Shell. Because Shell is alternative government in Nigeria. And everybody in government knows very well that Shell, they have constituted themselves to another government in this country since 1956. They know our people, they know the secret of our leaders and political leaders, so they organize themselves as alternative government. So anything that Shell is not interested, or anything that Shell don't want to spend money, Shell has a way to deal with the situation. And so that is just the problem that we are facing. If Shell want to go and clean up, to take effective way, the way they are also building their houses in our areas, providing generator for themselves and leave the local people in darkness. If Shell want to provide and want to do something, if Shell want that cleanup to be effective and all that, Shell will do it. So if the federal government hands are tied, it is Shell that decide to tie the government of Nigeria hands, not to do what is right.
So what needs to be done to break that bondage that you say Shell has on the government? What needs to be done to break that?
We will continue to report them to their family people in Netherlands and London. We will continue to report them. That warn them. In those days, when they start crying, the embassies will be calling us. Please, we are surprised. 5, 6 workers are kidnapped by Ijaw youth. Ijaw never kidnapped anybody. I told them it was a Gbesu that arrested criminals. It was a Gbesu who arrested. Look at our environment. So a Gbesu was so bin Kruku, the Ijaw gods are angry. So the Ijaw gods decide to arrest criminals who are polluting our environment because government cannot arrest them. So unfortunately, trial is going on by the spirits in the Ijaw land. So we are helpless. We cannot fight Shell. We are ordinary human beings. So we are telling their community, I'm happy this media is in the international world. The whole international world should know that Shell is still committing crime. 56 years independent, 59 years independent, we are celebrating. Shell came to Nigeria in 1956. Since 1956 to date, Shell, Chevron wage environmental war against our area, while they are using our money to beautify their homeland.
Well, Comrade Joseph Evah, do you think that the Petroleum Governance Industry Bill or the Petroleum Industry Bill can solve this problem?
No,
if eventually it becomes law.
Unless Shell agrees. They should talk to the conscience of Shell and organize all our men of God to pray, let them remove that demonic spirit from Shell. If they do that, everything will move smoothly.
Is that feasible, though? Is that possible? Shell, they're a corporation. They're not the government.
Not corporate. Human beings are the corporation. Even this your institution, human beings are different. Because without human beings, where is the corporation? It is human beings that manage the corporation. And these people call themselves, they call them, although board members, that is, they are different. They are mafias. How can you flare gas in an environment for more than 40 years and nobody is arresting you for committing crime? In genocide, you are flaring gas into my brain. No environmental impact assessment. You can just dredge anywhere, you put your pipe everywhere and nothing happens. This is superhuman. So it is not spirits that come and flare gas. It is human beings who are doing that, and they will invade arrest. Nobody can arrest them. Only in Nigeria, nobody arrests them.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Joseph Evah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. But let me quickly, please, sorry, this South Africa problem. Nigeria, we are taking these things for granted. I want all the vice chancellors in Nigeria, where South African citizens attended studies, to come out and tell you South Africans that we give them free education, we give them free food, we give them free food, and they are dealing with Nigerians.
Thank you very much.